This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
This podcast is part of the Robots Radio Rocket Club, a program designed to help all podcasts reach their full potential. For information about joining the Robots Radio Rocket Club, check out robotsradio.net.
Welcome to Holocron History, Star Wars Canon versus Legend. Join us as we take a deep dive into the lore of the Star Wars universe.
Hello and welcome to the Holocron Histories podcast, where we talk about Star Wars canon versus legend. I am one of your hosts, Austin, also known as Teacup.
And I am your other host, Ben of Temeria.
Yeah, and we are here to continue with our discussion. So last week we talked about the Rule of Two Legends material. I was not here, sadly, but you all had a great discussion. And we're here for the canon of the Rule of Two.
Yes, we are here talking about the canonical history and creation of the Rule of Two. And surprisingly, so you will notice some things do align same with Legends, because a lot of Legends material was translated into canon thanks to the films and the Clone Wars and all that stuff. But they did add some new things and references for the during the High Republic novels currently, and also there were some things with the Rule of Two specifically talked about in the comics that were never canonized, or that were never in Legends, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So, a simple summary of the Rule of Two. So, the Rule of Two was a decree for the Sith established by Sith Lord Darth Bane, so they could operate in a secret and eventually get revenge on the Jedi Order for their near extinction in the Jedi-Sith War. It was the successor of the doctrine of the Dyad. The decree commanded that only two Sith Lords must exist at any given time: a master to represent the power of the dark side of the Force, and an apprentice to crave it and train under the master, and to one day fulfill their role. This governed the Lords of the Sith. And if anybody watching this live, I do have a little 3D bust of Darth Bane and his Legends version, which is kind of hard to tell with it being completely all dark. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Right.
Darth Bane's appearance does change canonically to where he's more suited in armor, rather being looking more like an armor organic mix. It's kind of hard to describe.
Yeah, see, I always thought Darth Bane kind of looked like a different version of Malik.
Yeah. Yeah. Or are you talking about like his canonical version?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, his Legends version.
His Legends
version. And like, it's just interesting. Because the idea of like the armor that Bane wears in Legends is so cool. But like, I think it would, if you translated that into like an on-screen version, I think it would freak a lot of people out.
Absolutely, because they in Legends, Bane was very he represented a lot of horror-esque features, and he used that to put fear into his enemies.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, translating that into on-screen canon today, yeah, kids would probably freak out because it was not kid-friendly. Because it was that horrifying. But yeah, they changed his armor and look in canon to where he's more of like in medieval knight armor. And slimmed down and made it streamlined and everything. But anyway, we're here to talk about the Rule of Two. So, the prelude to the Rule of Two was preceded by the doctrine of the dyad, which was a concept centered on two force-sensitive beings who had a unique force bond, and that was unbreakable, which made them one of the force called a force dyad. Ancient legends referred to the dyad as the source of unique force power, such as force healing, and the ability to transfer objects through the force. And you might, if you've seen the films, you might kind of know where this might go. It's so weird. It's so weird of a concept that they did for the canonical versions.
Well, like, how is it different than just general force bond?
Right. But like, force healing, you get that through a force dyad connection. I was like, but it's just a force power. Shouldn't anybody be able to do that? Okay, yeah, moving items between each other through the force. Okay, I can give you that.
No. But no, force healing, that isn't a dyad power. You just have to transfer your own energy.
Your living energy.
Yeah.
Which is, it's weird. But anyway, the doctrine of the dyad was inscribed on the walls of the Sith Citadel, an ancient Sith stronghold located on the planet Exegol, to remind the Sith of the dyad's significance in their quest to attain ultimate power. The Sith Eternal, a cult of Sith loyalists, revered the doctrine of the dyad, believing the dyad symbolized the future of the Sith and was the key to achieving the full potential of the dark side of the Force. The concept of the Rule of Two and the relationship between Sith Master and Sith Apprentice was part of ancient Sith ideology since the time of the Great Scourge of Malachor. The Masters demanded loyalty from their apprentices, but they sometimes betrayed them if they found one with more potential. In ancient times, the Sith were ruled by two Sith Dark Lords, while many others existed at the same time. Oh, yeah, that's true. And everybody in chat, Dojo does say Bane did get rid of all the bugs by his second book, so he did change his looks. I completely forgot, like, in the first book with Bane, he's like covered in like this weird insect things that is what my little bust of him has, and it's really creepy looking.
Second book.
He
doesn't have it in the first book.
Second book, yeah, that. I'm confusing myself. Thanks, Dojo. So with the creation, the Sith Lords were the ancient enemies of the Jedi Knights for a millennia. As we all know, eventually the Sith's greed for power caused them to turn on themselves, which allowed the Jedi to defeat and decimate the weakened Sith to a millennia before the Clone Wars. Darth Bane emerged from the conflict as the sole surviving Sith Lord. With the Sith in the weakened state, the Jedi Order triumphed over the Sith on Ruusan. Realizing the Sith's greed led to their destruction, Bane created the Rule of Two. And if you even play like any of the older Star Wars, like KOTOR 1, KOTOR 2, SWOTORs, the Sith betray each other on a regular basis. And it's...
Oh, yeah.
It's like... Even like when there's thousands of Sith in the SWOTOR era, in the Galactic... during the Galactic Civil War, or Cold War, they're constantly betraying each other. It's freaking hysterical and like their own destruction. It's great. So the Sith henceforth consisted of for only 2 Sith Lords at any given time, the Master who embodied the power of the dark side, and the apprentice who craved that power. Bane also created the Grand Plan, which was the revenge plot against the Jedi. The generations that came after Bane were able to operate in secret for centuries, contributing to Bane's plot that would see the Jedi's destruction and the restoration of the Sith rule throughout the galaxy. The Rule of Two was a philosophy that was influenced by Bane's personal experiences as well as the study of ancient Sith documents. Under the Rule of Two, a Sith apprentice had to kill the Sith Master and take on an apprentice in order to become the Master themselves, which ensured that the Sith grew more powerful and cunning with each generation. On the other hand, the Master could train another apprentice and have them replace and kill their outgoing apprentice. As a result, the relationship between master and apprentice lacked trust, as both constantly searched for signs of weakness in the other. Yeah. Betrayal. It's great. Don't trust anyone. It's a wonderful time. So now we get to Bane and his apprentice. So Bane did took an apprentice of his own, Darth Zaya, the and passes Xana. Gosh, words. And passes his knowledge while establishing the new Sith way of pursuing power and revenge against the Jedi through manipulation and subterfuge. The Jedi became aware of Bane's philosophy, and Bane was killed. Although historical records weren't accurate, it was considered possible that Bane was killed by his own apprentice. So we don't know. We don't know how Bane dies in canon. If the Jedi killed him or his apprentice.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably not the Jedi.
Probably not. That's where I'm at too. I'm pretty sure is Xana.
Because, well, you haven't read the Bane trilogy, right?
I have not.
It's ambiguous.
Okay. That makes sense.
But Drew Caperton has said it was in the books. I think he said it was Darth Xana. It wasn't meant to be up for interpretation, but the books themselves are ambiguous.
Okay. That's fair. So, the Jedi Order took responsibility for ending what Jedi Master Elzar Mann described as the rule of Darth Bane. No matter the case, the Jedi went on to falsely believe that they had destroyed the Sith forever, despite rumors of the Sith continued in the shadows. And if no one knows who Jedi Master Elzar Mann is, he is one of the Jedi Masters in the High Republic era, and he is a phenomenal character who has a very interesting story arc on his own so far, all through each of the phases. I'm currently reading the first book of Phase 3, and let me tell you, the end of Phase 2, a lot happened, and not in a good way. And then, however, Bane's plans continued through his apprentice, allowing the Sith to survive secretly for years. While planning their revenge against the Jedi Order, Darth Sidious stated in his book, The Secrets of the Sith, that Bane was in fact killed by his apprentice. As a result, a cycle of betrayal and death became affixed to the Rule of Two, in which generations of apprentices fulfilled their training by killing their masters. The Rule of Two created a powerful dynamic by limiting the Sith to only one master and one apprentice at a time, although not all Sith followed the decree, and some took apprentices of their own while still serving a master. Yeah. And the Secrets of the Sith are a I don't know, this is not the book that you can buy.
Yes, Secrets of the Sith or something, I believe so.
Because there's the Book of the Sith, Secrets of the Dark Side. Yeah, it might be the same book. But anyway, there's a book. I'm sure you can probably buy it somewhere if they sell it physically, which I'm sure they probably
Mysteries
do.
of the Sith? Oh, no, that's a video game.
So now we have Plagueis. So if we all heard the story and the legend of Plagueis the Wise. Is it Plagueis the Wise? Is that how Palpatine says it? Or just Darth? Okay. So the Sith carried out their vendetta for 1,000 years, gaining power in secret, while the Jedi still believed that the Sith had been destroyed. During this period, the Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Plagueis, took Darth Sidious, the Sith persona of Senator Sheev Palpatine of Naboo, as his apprentice. They worked for years to coax the final secrets of the dark side of the Force. Sidious's callback on the wisdom of Plagueis as a planner and a prophet, knowing full well that two Sith were required to enact their means, one to serve as bait for the dark side, the other to be the vessel. Success would allow them to the ability to harness the full power of the dark side and rule immortal for 10,000 years. Plagueis attempted to create a Force dyad with Sidious, which was a power as strong as life itself, which he discovered that the doctrine of the dyad, which was the predecessor to the Rule of Two. However, Plagueis was unable to form the dyad. Yeah, because Sidious might have, was planning to kill you. Which happened. Yeah. So
Sidious.
And then now we get to Sidious, speaking of. So, while training under Plagueis, Sidious acquired a Dathomirian Zabrak named Maul as his pupil. He had initially considered Mother Talzin, Maul's mother. Upon realizing his potential, seeing no further use for his master, Sidious betrayed Plagueis by killing him in his sleep. However, Sidious always saw him as not quite good enough, which he saw in the essential quality that defined Maul's life. And then, after killing his first Jedi, tweak Padawan Eldra Caedus, Darth Maul reflected that she would have been made a good Sith apprentice, but that he had to finish her off to prevent his master from discovering his intended betrayal. Concurrently, Xerxes from the Xerxes cartel theorized the Sith's comeback, leading Maul to kill her, as Sidious had threatened him with death if they were prematurely discovered. Yeah, which that alone was interesting to find out that a cartel member would discovered, oh crap, the Sith are not dead. But being a cartel member, they died too quick.
Yeah.
So, in 32 BBY, during the invasion of Naboo by the Trade Federation, the Sith finally revealed themselves to the Jedi, and Sidious sending Maul to Tatooine to capture Queen Padme Amidala, to take her back to Naboo so she could sign a peace treaty. The Jedi Qui-Gon Jinn faced Maul, but was able to leave Tatooine with Amidala with his allies, realizing the Sith had returned. During the Battle of Naboo, which broke the Federation's blockade, Maul killed Jinn only to be seamlessly killed in turn by his Padawan, Obi-Wan Kenobi, leading the Jedi to realize the return of the Sith. During Jinn's funeral, both Yoda and Mace Windu, the Grand Master and Master of the Order of the Jedi, respectively, pondered on whom could be the other Sith Lord due to the Rule of Two, demanding only two Sith, and whether Maul was the Master or the apprentice of the Sith pair that had been reduced to one. Though Maul would later be turned out to be alive, Sidious turned his gaze away and lost all interest in him. Because Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know all that, that was from Phantom Menace. But, yeah. It's interesting, though, by the way, fun fact, Samuel Jackson is still, intending that Mace Windu is not dead, and he wants his own show on Disney Plus. He literally just stated that the other day, yesterday or something like that. He wants to come back tremendously.
Of course he does.
I don't know why Disney won't, because they could easily make money, and Dave Filoni can easily somehow fit Mace Windu somewhere. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think it's okay if he doesn't come back.
I think so too.
Mhm.
So now we go with Sidious's second apprentice, because he has more than one.
Mhm.
I would say he's like the worst of the Dark Masters, or Dark Lords of the Sith. He's like master-wise. Like, yeah, cool. Sidious like is in power for like decades in the Sith, but he keeps losing apprentices left and right.
Well, that's because he doesn't care about them.
Not true.
His main goal is to get Anakin as his apprentice. He knows that none of the people that he's taking as apprentice are going to be the one to like take over for him as Dark Lord.
True. But he had no intention to succumb to that regardless, even if, Anakin would have been more powerful than him. He's like, yeah, no, I'm still going to have the power.
Well, he would have let Anakin strike him down. He just had always planned to take over the body.
Oh, that's true. Soul transfer. Great.
Mm-hmm.
So, with Maul presumed dead, Sidious took the former Jedi Master Count Dooku from House Sereno as his next apprentice and bestowed him with the name Darth Tyrannus. Sidious had actually approached Dooku while still apprenticing Maul and met with Dooku in a skyscraper of his after Maul's loss on Naboo to assure him that the deaths of their apprentices were in service of their goals upon being called out, allowing Maul to kill Jin, whom Dooku felt it would have been a great ally to them despite Sidious not thinking the same. Yeah, there's Dooku always had a soft spot for Qui-Gon, obviously because it was his Padawan. And it's like, oh yeah, he would have been a great ally. Sidious knowing that Qui-Gon would not have been an ally because Qui-Gon is always going to follow the way of the living force.
Yes.
I wouldn't say the Jedi Code, but by the living force, because that's what he followed above the Jedi Code.
Mm-hmm.
So, unknown to the Sith, Jedi Master Yaddle had followed Dooku there, but as Sidious's prompting, Dooku finished Yaddle off by preventing her from alerting the Jedi, officially cutting any ties he still had with the Jedi and becoming Sidious's pupil. During a mission on Solus, Dooku considered recruiting the Jedi Knight Jack Zinn as an ally of the Sith cause, but ultimately stopped when Sidious stated that a Sith Master needed only one apprentice and threatened to replace him with the Togarian Jedi. Dooku assured that Jack Zinn was killed, though he lamented that his death was a pity. And this go watch Tales of the Jedi, because this is like the scene with Yaddle is we get that in Tales of the Jedi and now know why she was not in episode 2.
Mm-hmm. All because of Dooku.
Yep. And a giant door.
Mm-hmm.
Which that's a terrible way to go. I'd rather take a lightsaber cut. Like, hit.
Me too.
Mace is dead, get over it. Thanks, Dojo, thanks.
What did he say?
He's like, Mace is dead, get over it.
Thanks.
So, during the next decade, Dooku aided his master in engineering the Clone Wars, including orchestrating Jedi Master Sifo Dyas' death, and then he used his name in order the army of clone troopers to be created for the Republic, and selecting bounty hunter Jango Fett as the genetic template for the clones. He also had the biochips implanted in the clones' brains, which, unbeknownst to all but Sidious and Dooku, would allow Sidious to force the clones to destroy the Jedi through his secret protocol, Order 66. In 22 BBY, the Confederacy of Independent Systems on their side, Dooku revealed his planned allegiance to the Jedi, and the Clone Wars began with the first battle of Geonosis. And then throughout the conflict, the Rule 2 was violated by Dooku, who took the Dathomirian Night Sister Asajj Ventress on as an assassin and apprentice. However, Sidious, believing Dooku may have been training her to destroy him and sensing her power had grown, ordered Dooku to eliminate her. Dooku obeyed his master and left her for dead following the Battle of Solitz. Dooku later took the Zabrak Savage Opress, brother of Maul, as his apprentice so he could take Sidious's place as master, only for his plan to fail due to Ventress's intervention upon receiving a premonition of events to come. The Besalic Jedi Master Prong Krell fell to the dark side in an attempt to become Dooku's new apprentice, but the clone Dogma executed him after Krell turned on the 501st Legion. However, Dooku took the Jedi Master Quinlan Vos as apprentice after capturing him, but his plan failed again as Ventress gave her life to save Vos, which was in the Dark Disciple book.
Mm-hmm.
Which we might see or lead to in the final season of Bad Batch.
Yep.
So that will be interesting. And good that Prong Krell is dead. Because screw that guy. I hate... Oh, God.
Yeah.
I go to any Star Wars fan. I'm pretty sure most people will tell you, like, who's worse, Sidious or Prong Krell? Everybody's going to look at Prong Krell. Because he's just... No. But, yeah. But, anyway, I think right now would be a good time to take a mid-break and be back.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, welcome to the middle of the show where we take time to thank our patrons. Thank you to all of our patrons who support us. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you for your support. If you'd like to support us, you can do so at patreon.com/holocronhistories. You can also support us by leaving us ratings or reviews and comments on Apple and Spotify. If you leave us 5 stars and a kind comment or kind words, we'll read it out on a future episode of the show. Ben, do we have one to read today?
We do. We have a comment on our last episode, Rule 2 of Legends, by Jedi of Time. The Rule of 2 is not smart because what if the master dies and the apprentice is not power enough to rule? Great episode. And, if the master dies and the apprentice, is not strong enough, the apprentice will die. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you for that comment. Thank you for 5 stars. But also, you can come hang out with us on Discord in the various Discords. You can check us out live on twitch.tv/Bit of Temeria every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time, which is 8 p.m. Eastern Time and 5 p.m. Pacific. You can check us out there and hang out with us on twitch.tv. On the Discord, you can also find our various other shows, and come and hang out and check us out. Other than that, I think that's all I got for the mid-break.
Cool. I have nothing to add, but mini shows. We have mini shows. All right. We're back. And now we have Sidious and his third apprentice, because he doesn't have enough. Can you guess who his third apprentice is?
Anakin Skywalker.
Yes.
I thought it was a trick question, and so I was really confused. I was like, I guess technically General Grievous, but I mean, not really.
No, it is Vader. So in 19 BBY, shortly before the end of the Clone Wars, General Grievous kidnapped Palpatine, which had planned to orchestrate it by Sidious in order to bring Anakin Skywalker to the dark side and replace Dooku as his next apprentice. As Sidious was in time to make Anakin his apprentice and that Dooku's purpose had been served, Palpatine's capture led to Kenobi and Skywalker to be dispatched to rescue him aboard the Invisible Hand. During a lightsaber duel aboard the ship, Skywalker defeated and disarmed Dooku. Sidious then betrayed his apprentice by encouraging Anakin to kill the Sith Lord, paving the way for Anakin to take the older man's place. After Dooku's death, Sidious had his Jedi rescuers eventually made it back to Coruscant. Only if Dooku revealed the plans right then and there.
If only.
Or if
he really should. He really should have.
Right? I would have. As soon as Sidious is like, kill him now. Like, that's when I was like, okay, I don't care anymore. I'm going to reveal literally everything.
Hey, this bitch is killing us. Like, this bitch is
right. It's like, he's planning to betray the entire Republic. Oh, by the way, he's the Dark Lord of the Sith in hiding. Oh, by the way, all the clones have inhibitor chips to kill all of you.
Yep.
Like, that would, and the clone was right there, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. Dooku, you're spared because you don't have any hands now. Palpatine, we have a little talk to have since you're still locked up in that chair.
Mm-hmm.
So, studentless again, Sidious seduced Skywalker to the dark side by telling him about Plagueis upon discovering his fears that Amidala, his secret wife, would die in childbirth. Skywalker initially revealed Palpatine's secret to Mace Windu, who attempted to arrest the Chancellor. Skywalker, however, turned to the Jedi to save Palpatine from being killed, leading to Windu's quote-unquote death. No longer a Jedi, Skywalker became Sidious's new apprentice and was anointed as Darth Vader. Sidious issued Order 66, causing the biochips to activate in the brainwashed clone troopers into retrain and murdering their Jedi generals, while Vader purged the Jedi Temple on Coruscant under Sidious's order, no longer requiring the Separatist Council. Sidious betrayed them by having Vader execute them, which we see partially in Revenge of the Sith. And by the way, a lot of this is in Revenge of the Sith. But there is, if you play the Revenge of the Sith video game from 2003, you get to do this. Surprisingly,
yep.
It's terrible that you're playing as Vader, but it's oddly satisfying because everyone you kill deserves it. Mostly.
Yes. Because Wat Tambor, Newt Gunray, and someone else also dies in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. So, Sidious then framed the Jedi for treason and proclaimed himself Galactic Emperor, reorganizing the Republic into the First Galactic Empire. Kenobi and Yoda resolved to destroy the Sith, including the former Anakin Skywalker. However, neither Sith Lord was destroyed. Sidious survived the battle with Yoda, who subsequently fled into exile. Vader sustained grievous injuries in his duel with Kenobi and was rebuilt as a cyborg encased within a life support armor. After learning that of Amidala's death and being told that Sidious it was his own doing, Vader lashed out of anger against his master, but ultimately relented, agreeing to begin his new life. Yeah. Fun fact. Yeah, it was all Sidious's plan.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably interesting. And then, while bleeding his new kyber crystal, it showed him a vision of returning to the light, killing Sidious, and reuniting with Kenobi. But Vader rejected any such future, declaring his new reality was all that was left for him. Vader still struggled with the sentiment of Amidala, but still finally fully committed himself to the Sith following the Battle of Fortress Vader, and failed effort to revive her. Having not heard any word from Vader over the course of the incident, Sidious began considering that he would need to search for another apprentice. Once Vader finally contacted him again, Sidious claimed that he would desist the seeking another apprentice. One part of the battle had also seen the ancient Sith Lord Darth Bane, who had kept his essence alive via his mask, resurrect himself and mock the modern Sith as weak. Jedi-obsessed order in their duel, Vader ultimately killed the ancient dark side user. And these all happens in a comic, with the Dark Vader comics. And this is also the first time we see in media of how lightsaber crystals were turned, kyber crystals were turned red, was because of this Vader comic. And I'll tell you, the vision he had, the Jedi Master he killed, and he to turn that kyber crystal into red. That kyber crystal's Force, like, because all kyber crystals have the Force in them, try to turn him back to the light. Only if it succeeded. That would have been cool. But it didn't. So, in 4 ABY, both the Empire and the Rebel Alliance were preparing for a definitive showdown above the forest moon of Endor, with the second Death Star's super laser finally operational. Still determined to find his son, Vader was sent by his master to Endor to wait for Luke to come to him. After Luke turned himself over to Vader, Luke attempted to turn Vader back into the light side of the Force. Vader refused his son's pleas, and the two traveled to the Death Star where Sidious awaited. Once in the Emperor's throne room, the Emperor welcomed Skywalker, promising to complete his training, yet Luke affirmed that the Emperor would be gravely mistaken, that he would have been turned like his father. Eventually, a duel broke out between Luke and Vader, ending with Luke cutting off his father's hand. Sidious, who betrayed Dooku to gain Anakin as an apprentice, tried to replace Vader by having Luke kill his own father. Luke spared Vader's life, however, he declared that he'd become a Jedi like his father before him. Sidious attacked Luke in anger, using Force Lightning to attack the Jedi for refusing to join. Moved by his son's compassion, Vader returned to the light side as Anakin Skywalker and prevented Luke's death by throwing his master into a reactor shaft, killing Sidious, quote-unquote, and sacrificing himself in the process. The final act of sacrifice redeemed Anakin, who died peacefully, restoring balance to the Force as the prophesized Chosen One. And that's Return of the Jedi, folks.
Yes. Darth Vader is the Chosen One.
Yep.
Anakin Skywalker is the Chosen One.
Regardless if you like it or not, he is the Chosen One. So now we move to the legacy of the Rule of Two, because things happen in canon after Return of the Jedi.
Somehow they happen.
Oh no, there's writing to make more money. So, in the deaths of Sidious and Vader entered the Sith lineage that dated back to the creation of the Rule of Two, but while the Sith's destruction was foretold in the Jedi prophecy of the Chosen One, it did not mean the end of the dark side of the Force. Sidious had observed the Rule of Two in the extent that it limited the Sith's ranks to a master and an apprentice. Beyond that, he was unwilling to replace, and therefore sought to rule the galaxy forever as an immortal Sith Lord. Using the knowledge he gained from his late master Plagueis, Sidious resurrected himself in a cloned body. The transference was flawed, however, Sidious found his spirit tethered to a weak, decaying vessel. Sidious regarded the Daedad as the key to the ultimate power coveted by the All-Sith. As such, he considered the Rule of Two a pale imitation, an unworthy but necessary successor to the doctrine of the Dyad. So, allied by the Sith Eternal, the revived Emperor oversaw the continuation of the contingency from Exegol, where a massive invasion fleet was built to enforce his future Sith Empire. Sidious sought a new apprentice to train, the grandson of Vader and nephew to Luke Skywalker, Ben Solos. His strength with the Force was prodigious as the result of Skywalker bloodline. And just like in canons, everything is the Skywalker's fault.
Yeah, everything.
Everything wrong with the galaxy is literally because the Skywalker bloodline. I'm sorry. So
I don't make the rules.
Right. So through the Force, Sidious secretly communicated with Solo in order to lure him away from the Jedi path, undermining Skywalker's plan to restore the Jedi Order. Rather than directly training Solo, he created Snoke, an artificial strand cast, though whom he could mold Skywalker's heir into a servant of the dark side. The Sith Eternal was also involved in the creation of Snoke, and who had they designed to groom Solo as their heir worthy of claiming the Sith legacy. With the destruction of the Jedi Temple of Luke Skywalker, Sidious's effort to turn Solo to the dark side of the Force succeeded as the fallen Jedi apprentice joined the Knights of Ren by killing their leader, which happens in the comics. Adopting the persona of Kylo Ren, he became the master of the Knights of Ren, as well as the apprentice of Supreme Leader Snoke, who ruled the First Order, a successor to the Galactic Empire. While neither Snoke nor Ren claimed the title of Sith, he instead represented a new generation of dark side wielders. They were nonetheless influenced by Sidious, who remained hidden on Exegol. And then, although Snoke had trained other apprentices before Ren, he regarded Ren as his most promising student. Snoke believed that he was part of the Skywalker bloodline. Ren had the right balance of the dark side and light in him due to his heritage as Darth Vader's grandson. Following the visit to the Cave of Evil on Dagobah, Ren reassured Snoke that he would not need other apprentices. 30 years after the defeat of the Sith, Ren assassinated Snoke in an act of worthy of Rule of Two. Ren subsequently gained the power and independence he coveted in the First Order's new Supreme Leader, and vowed to never return to serving powerful masters like Luke Skywalker or Snoke. Yeah, that's in The Last Jedi, by the way. We see that, which it was... I'm still mad about that scene, because they teed up Snoke to be like a mysterious bad guy and like antagonist in Force Awakens, and we finally see him in the flesh with the Last Jedi, and he gets killed in literally 2 minutes. And it's like, what? I'm sorry, but what? You teed him up to be this mysterious antagonist that everybody freaking theorized for years, and you kill him off like it's nothing.
Yep.
So, in destroying his master, Ren had passed the final test of his training, achieving adolescence through his full submission to the dark side. Snoke's reason for existing had been fulfilled by using the former Supreme Leader as a proxy. Sidious circumvented the Sith tradition that required the apprentice to ascend by killing the master who had trained him. A year after the Battle of Crate, Sidious broadcast a message announcing his imminent return. Deeming the Phantom Emperor a threat to his rule, Ren attained Vader's Wayfinder and tracked Sidious to Exegol. The Emperor revealed himself as the source of all the voices in Ren's mind, including Snoke and Vader. He offered to help Ren succeed to the throne of the Sith as the galaxy's new emperor in exchange for killing his granddaughter, the Jedi apprentice Rey. Rey confronted her grandfather, her grandfather, after learning about their connection during the Battle of Exegol between the Resistance and the Sith Eternal. Sidious urged Rey to submit to the dark side by sacrificing him, freeing his soul from the temporary vessel and allowing Sidious to possess Rey. However, she rejected him with the help of the redeemed Ben Solo, causing Sidious to unleash his power against the prophesied Force Dyad. The power of the Force Bond restored Sidious's body and resolved the rule alone as Emperor once more. Empowered by the spirits of the past Jedi, Rey sacrificed herself to destroy the Emperor in body and soul, and with his destruction, Darth Bane's long-lasting vendetta and Return of the Sith were aborted. Yeah, that's what we have in canon.
Woohoo!
There's a lot because the sequel trilogy was a lot to deal with. Like, the legacy stuff, oh my gosh. When I was writing these notes and everything, it's like, do we have to talk about this? Do we? We do.
Yeah.
But why? It's just also weird to call Rey Palpatine's granddaughter, which technically that's true, and it's also technically not true at the same time.
I mean, it is true, I guess.
Because her father was a failed clone of himself.
Okay, is Jango Boba's father?
Fair point. Okay, never mind. That's understandable. Okay, that's fair. But yeah, and we in Rise of Skywalker, we get, force healing out of nowhere. And it's like, oh, that's cool. And then Rey and Ben are able to trade lightsabers mid-fight through the force out of nowhere.
They don't trade lightsabers, she just gives him one.
Oh, that's right. Though I will say that's probably one of the most that's probably one of the best scenes is when Ben gets Rey's saber and just like, it happens, and just whoops all the Knights of Ren. Though it also diminishes the whole reputation of the Knights of Ren. We finally get to see them fight, and Ben just wipes them out. But that's sequel writing for you. I don't know what else to tell you. But yeah.
Yep.
That's what we have on the Rule of Two for the canonical history. And hopefully to learn more, because we do have Star Wars Acolyte coming out sometime this year, hopefully, which will deal in more of the dark side of the Force during the High Republic era. So we might get more Sith Lord and more stuff with the Rule of Two.
Maybe. Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm praying that we will have Old Republic nods in that show. Please show Revan. Please show his holocron. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. I don't even need to see him. Just give a voice. But anyway, also Dojo in chat says Knights of the Ren was a waste of everyone's time. Absolutely, they were. They were deemed to be just like Snoke. They were teed up to be this all powerful dark side wielders of the Force and everything, and then you finally see them in action and they get whooped by a single Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. That's all I got.
All right. Well, thanks for bringing that Rule of Two. It's confusing. Not really. There are two. Master apprentice.
It's flawed.
Yes. Like all things.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of worked. Until it didn't.
Yeah, it kind of worked. Until Sidious's demise on the Death Star.
Yeah. But we did it. Thanks for bringing all the research. Thanks for doing that. Thank you all for listening to the Holocron Histories podcast. We'll see you next time.
And may the Force be with you. Thank you for listening to Holocron Histories, Star Wars Canon versus Legends. You can find us on the Robots Radio Discord at robotsradio.net, the Ben and Friends Podcasting Discord, and even at the Cups Podcast and More Discord. You can find us on Twitter at SWHoloHistories, and even email us at holocronhistories@gmail.com.